Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Spencer Israel, Steve Strazza, JC Parets is here as well. We got Alfonso manning the charts behind the scenes. It's a great day. We have much to talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about the action from Friday, the follow through in crypto over the weekend. More follow through this morning. We're already bouncing, so a lot of price action going on. We have to discuss all of it. There are some individual headlines, but I think we want to just kind of take everything and start from the top down here because there is a lot of headlines and things we haven't seen in a while. It was exciting, so we'll talk about it right now. We'll have Jason Purrs on. It's a great day to talk to Jason Purrs because I don't know if you guys have seen the rare earth stocks this morning, but they are ripping. Bond market is, of course, closed. We won't talk. Maybe we'll talk bonds. I don't know. Well, Jason stop by. Well, Kenny Glick stop by. And that'll be the plan for the day. Good morning, chat. Everyone is here. Good. Yes. On we go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh,
how we doing?
Happy Columbus Day.
Did that used to be a market holiday? Was there a time?
The stock market, New York Stock Exchange has always been open. So, like for me, my rule of thumb is if it's the stock market's open, then it's not a real national holiday, which I think is rude for certain cultures, but that's how I think about it. If the stock market's open, and then also remember the stock market can't be closed 4 days in a row here in America. This isn't fucking China where they just shut down for a month and say, see ya.
Well, it's crazy, and it causes like dislocations. We were talking about them with one of our members from out there, and then when the market comes back, opens back up 2 weeks later, you get a lot of volatility. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
They do.
So I'm speaking at a conference last week, 750, 800 people there. Most people out. I was about to go on stage and I was like, wow, this is the most amount of people I've ever spoken in front of in my life. That's a true story. As many presentations as I've given. This was the most ever.
What was the organization, association? Group?
This was a company called Paradigm Press, a publisher. Okay. So I'm speaking at this conference, 750, 800 people. And I start out the conversation. I'm like, all right, raise your hand if you think we're in a bubble. All right. So just like that, the entire room raises their hand. Like if there were 800 people there, 750 of them raised their hand. Right.
Wasn't this the Stansberry conference though?
No.
Oh.
That's in 2 weeks. So I raise my hand. I say, okay. I didn't even mention which asset class. They just raised their hand. I didn't even say what asset. I just said, do you think we're in a bubble? They all said yes. And I didn't even mention which asset, and they all started laughing.
I think, JC, that right there is why you do these speaking things, and you would probably be content to leave right after that. That's all you needed to know, right? That's all you wanted to know is what does everyone think about the bubble?
Sometimes you get bad sentiment signal at these things. JC
says, thanks, bye, and then he dips.
Is this a crowd
you talked about this before when I give presentations in front of a lot of people. I do this a lot. I take advantage. I mean, listen, if you're going to invite me to your conference, I'm going to get some data. Sorry, that's just what it is. And not only am I going to get some data, I'm going to give you my presentation 10 minutes before I go on stage. I'm a diva like that. I am. And some people can't understand, because, people are like, oh, JC, I need your deck 2 weeks before your presentation. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, 2 weeks
before.
Are
there not some places that you do speak at though where that the crowd is tilted in one way, so you have to be aware of that too? Like you got to know your environment when you speak at some of these places.
I guess. I mean, know your audience. Like in this case, it was like boomer investors. Right. And then another time I gave a presentation at the NAAIM. Those were a bunch of financial advisors. So know who you're in front of, right?
I'm going somewhere in the first week of December, and because of where it is and who it is. I know for a fact it's going to be all about gold and precious metals, and there's going to be tents set up selling gold bars. But it is what it is.
All right, let's get into the market. We got a lot happening. What do you say?
That's what I
do you
said.
dive in?
There's a lot going on for a half market holiday.
It's not a holiday.
Big day Friday.
All right.
We talk about it.
All right.
Whenever we go away, the market crashes.
Who went away?
Whenever we leave our desk, something bad happens. And it's not true. And that's just like a bad excuse plan to have. But you hear this. I hear this from people forever in my career.
Larry Ritholtz has been writing about this for 15 years when he goes on vacation.
But like, I hear it from traders too. I hear it from my traders friends. So whenever I go away, the market crashes. It feels that way. There's always volatility. If your plan is to like hope there's not a bad day when you go away and just leave your positions riding, that's kind of on you. So that happened to me Friday.
All right, so the Dow futures this morning up 380 points. Big pop at the open last night. NASDAQ 100 futures up 1.8% this morning. Wow, Ooh. That is a serious move this morning. 432 points to the upside for the NASDAQ. S&P 500 futures up 1.2%. That's 80 handles. 66.73 for S&P 500 futures. 30-year bond futures. Are the futures open this morning? Yeah, they're open this morning, right? They're flat. So the bond market's closed. The rest of the world doesn't give a shit about Christopher Columbus. And so bond futures are trading. Crude oil up a full percent, just under 60. Copper up 3.5%, 506. Gold, ladies and gentlemen, up another 2.5% this morning. New all-time highs, $4,100 per ounce for gold. Silver, get this, up 5.7% this morning. Wow, $50 for silver. $50 silver, ladies and gentlemen. And that brings the VIX down this morning, still above 20. Man, people are scared. Love to see it. And then over in funny money land, of course, let's see. All right, so you got Bitcoin this morning, 114,500, down 500 after a big bounce over the weekend. Ethereum 4120, down less than 1% after a big bounce this weekend. And of course, Solana, monster bounce yesterday, 193, down 2% on the day. What a ripper yesterday. That brings the total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, 3.84 trillion. What stands out from this morning's futures?
Not much. Gotta see what happens the next few days.
Not much stands out from this morning's futures. So silver at 50. Not
automatic reaction, dead cat bounce off of some big downside volatility. We got to see what happens.
You think this is a dead cat bounce?
Dead cat
sell off?
Wow.
Well, it is for now, right? You get until you repair the damage and make a new high. It's a dead cat bounce, as far as I'm concerned. You're coming off of new all-time highs in a lot of these asset classes. So,
all right, let's talk about some of the important ones. Throw up slide 5.
They say, JC, one day doesn't make a trend, but can it give a signal sometimes?
I mean, it often does, right? Those momentum thrusts happen in a day or a couple days, right? This one stands out to me. This was a chart. This was probably, this was 5.5 years ago, but regional banks breaking down to new lows a couple of months before COVID hit was a big reason why we were bearish at that time. Obviously, Strazza and I know nothing about viruses or vaccines or, science in general. Right. Hence, Strazza's breakfast cannolis, right? If Strazza knew anything about science, he would know that that's a bad idea. But Strazza and me know nothing about science. We were bearish before COVID, very much so. And this, Strazza, if you recall, was one of the reasons at least I was so bearish going into 2020.
I'm doing some work on the private credit stuff. I don't understand how it matters really at all for the banks. I don't understand why there would be some sort of knock-on effect or counterparty issue. This is now it's not a niche industry, but it's been taken away from the traditional capital market system in many ways, with all the private equity companies really taking the lead in these markets. So why the entire financial sector has been weak, and on Friday, the whole stock market weak, I don't think it's China stuff, by the way. Sorry if it seems like I'm talking about something else right now. I don't think all the selling Friday was really the trade war stuff, because this is just cyber rattling. We've seen it before. They're
Can you
negotiating
explain
stuff.
what trade war stuff? Because I heard that was fake news.
China did something with their rare earths, basically threatening that we not going
And
to
when
get
did
their
they do
rare
this?
earths.
When did they do this threat? This said threatening.
Thursday, Edward was telling us all about it on our PA meeting. So cool having him in the room. But anyway, that was Thursday. We, I guess, responded on Twitter or Truth Trump Social on Friday, something about like 100% tariff. So they've been going back and forth. That's what caused the volatility. So the news is saying, I think there's more stuff going on in the high yield markets and the private credit markets. That's kind of spooking all of risk asset markets now and kind of poured over on Friday. That's the way I'm viewing the selling from last week. But it started here with the financials. And I mean, look at the regional banks. This chart's great, JC. The price action there has been nasty. So we'll see what happens. But I think you want to see the financials, the whole sector stabilize. So, and you want to see high yield stabilize. And those private equity companies that have been getting hit.
Throw up throw up slide 6, please.
And then I wonder, like, why is crypto getting hit so hard? Like, they finally dug in yesterday. It really did get a nice bounce. But like, why is crypto getting rocked the way it is? You know, they hit precious metals too.
There was a Ukrainian hedge fund manager that blew up, and then he killed himself in a Lamborghini afterwards. So there were some funds that blew up. That's one for sure.
Wait, what are you saying? Seriously? You're not joking?
I mean, I wish I was. I mean, I don't know why this should be
it
surprising.
was all over Twitter over the weekend.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's why I looked at nothing this weekend. I played golf literally all weekend and drove.
So jealous.
0 things, which is great. But I heard about the liquidations. I was getting texts about crypto.
I mean, it was obvious when you see it happening. You know, somebody's blowing up and there's forced liquidations, and then the guy decided to take his life. You know, which is unfortunate, obviously. But that, you know, that's not a surprise at all when you see the price action. You knew a lot of that was not willing sellers, right? You know what I mean? Like, these are forced sellers. I mean, I don't think that you need to kill yourself in your Lamborghini. That's kind of a cop out.
He was long.
I would imagine that's why he
One down day wiped him out. Don't be an idiot. See, learn from stories like this. Jesus, shouldn't kill yourself in your car because of one day of selling in cryptos. Holy cow! How were you positioned, man? I didn't hear about it. I got nothing to say.
Oh yeah, that's real life. Throw slide 6. So this is small caps failing to break out, running into what we like to refer to as resistance. Resistance is what we call it there, Strazza. When you run into that former level of overhead supply and stop going up. Some people would say that it is a coincidence that it stopped going up here. I would argue that there is just still an overwhelming amount of selling pressure at these levels. So despite an all-time high on the quarterly basis, on a monthly basis for the Russell 2000, I believe a couple of daily all-time high closes and maybe a weekly mixed in there. You know, I think we all agreed that we still need to see it stick the landing. Still haven't stuck the landing, for the record. I got one more thing to say about this.
Yeah.
The implications of this failure would suggest that it is likely to take longer than most are willing to wait for this to break out. So with that being said, the faster this breaks out, I think the more information of underlying strength in the market that we're getting. Like how quickly this breaks out to new all-time highs, I think is going to tell us a lot about the strength.
I'm going to sound frustrated today and bearish because last week there was some bearish action, first time in a long time. However, it's not time to do bearish things yet. I think this chart's a great illustration. Sometimes you just get big choppy messes over the short term and a lot of volatility at inflection points or resolution points. And this could be an inflection point in the sense that it's just a massive upside base breakout for small caps. This doesn't have to be some sort of like reversal situation. You could get volatility here like at a decision point, and then there's a new leg higher. We just need to see that launch now. It's frustrating because you'll put trades on, right, and start leaning into a breakout like the case was for small caps a week, 2 weeks ago, and then you get this big failure. So over the short term, it does make it harder as a trader, but it doesn't mean that this breakout is failing or that the trend is over for small caps. Like JC says, it means at least for now, bulls, you got to be a little more patient because it's not
next chart up, software
printing right now.
Throw software up. This, according to Strazza, are the best stocks.
Yeah, there's logical levels. And
right
and
at that
some selling is fine.
161.8% extension of the big base.
Yeah.
And then here's the big one. Throw up the Dow. So this one, the next one there. So this one to me, like when you talked about like, okay, Russell 2000 failing, fine, correction, regionals making new relative lows, fine. To me, this is the one. If the Dow's below 45,000, that's a big problem for this market because that creates a major failed breakout, and that would be a very bearish development for the overall market, in my opinion.
And I think you could even drill in to what you're thinking here and use XLF and XLI too. If you want to be a little more
spot on.
specific, like those two, they have big levels.
And Strazza, is it a coincidence that you're talking about XLF and XLI, which are financials and industrials, when we're talking about the Dow Jones Industrial Average? It's got a bunch of those. Like, is that a coincidence?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that's what's driving it. And I think those two groups are so key right now. I think financials right now are as important as anything.
Always, sir.
Yep, fine. A couple comments in the chat. Yes, bank earnings, not just huge for financials this week, they're huge for the whole market. And also, these are the biggest banks in the world. On their calls, the Q&A portions of their calls, I'm going to be listening because they will be fielding questions about what's going on. And I think, Robert, you're being sarcastic in the chat. I don't know. But like a little auto parts company should be able to go bankrupt, and these private credit companies shouldn't be freaking out and their stock shouldn't be collapsing. You know what I mean? That should just be a part of the business that they're in.
Throw up the earnings calendar. So it starts with the banks. That's who leads this off.
Yeah, what's JP Morgan Wednesday?
Bank of America. Tomorrow. Morgan Stanley.
JP Morgan's tomorrow or Wednesday?
Tomorrow.
I don't see it.
It's tomorrow the 14th? Yeah.
There it is. That's their logo?
No, it's an old logo. That's the Chase logo.
Oh, yeah.
In any case, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Citi tomorrow, and then Bank of America, Morgan, Citizens Wednesday, Schwab Thursday, US Bank Corp Thursday, KeyBank Thursday. That's pretty much it.
I know we got Kenny in the house, but I wanted to go over a couple of things. If you can throw up slide 11, and let's work our way backwards here. I got 3 things that I want to point out. The first one is, when the market keeps proving you wrong, and you're just a stubborn bastard that can't just adjust to the price action. You see this all the time. It's the stock market that's dumb. It's investors these days that are dumb. It's the irresponsible, degenerate kids these days. It's the grift of the market. That's what all these those are words that all these assholes use to describe an environment that they're not benefiting from, right? Those are the words. Stupid investors. This is dumb. The market doesn't care about anything anymore. This is all a grift. Oh my God, everyone's just gambling. When you hear any of that, those are just usually not young people are the ones that act this way. Usually it's older people that it's like, oh, well, in my day, it wasn't like this. Well, nobody gives a fuck the way that it used to be in your day, right? So this is classic. You see it all the time. And when you see these people calling the stock market dumb, when they should just be looking at the mirror, right? That is classic. Just beware of these people that are always blaming the stupidity of others for their own mistakes. Go to the next one. One thing, if you study every bull market in history, no, before. If you study every bull market in history, okay, and I encourage you to do so. And if you haven't gone to study every bull market in history, go do it now. That's way more important than whatever me and Strazza are talking about.
Okay? I guarantee you this lunatic says some scary shit about the credit markets tomorrow.
Dude, this guy,
guarantee you he's going to say some bearish shit. Just wait.
Back in 2022, right? You know what this guy tried to scare your parents? I remember this guy scaring the crap out of your parents.
Doing it forever.
What's that?
He's been doing it forever. He's going to go out and buy stock too.
Dude, he said, brace for an economic hurricane is what this guy was trying to scare your parents' financial advisors. Beware for a financial and economic hurricane. Needless to say, the stock market bottomed 2 weeks later and went on to have one of the greatest runs in the history of the U.S. stock market. And now this fucking guy is at it again, telling you about a stock market crash. So what I encourage you to do is study every bull market in history. And you know what you're going to find? You're going to find billionaires telling you to sell your stocks.
Yeah, right.
Every single one of those bull markets. And these assholes in the media are going to do their very best to make sure that you know which billionaire it is this time, because they have nothing else to fucking talk about.
Spencer's trying to rush to his defense.
Out of you. That's
Hold on. He's a hell of a risk manager, one of the best of all time.
I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not saying anything bad about Jamie Dimon. He's the man. As investors, whether he's the man or not is not the point. PTJ, Paul Tudor Jones, the greatest trader of all time. Look, he was trying to scare the crap out of you a couple of weeks ago too. I'm not hating on the guys. I'm just telling you this is normal market behavior for healthy environments.
Hey, Ray Dalio says you should have 20% of your investable assets in gold. Do you agree?
I don't remember Ray Dalio not being bearish.
Hold on, these guys make all their money on the long side.
What I was going to say about Jamie Dimon real fast was he didn't say brace for a stock market hurricane. He said economic hurricane. The economy.
How'd that work out?
The economy is not the stock market. They're two different things. All right.
The economy's been pretty fucking good. I don't know if you've been looking around, Spencer.
It depends where you look. There's not been a hurricane. That's for sure.
Everybody has a job. There have been twice as many job openings as people looking for jobs. Stock market's at all-time highs. Real estate across the board's at all-time highs. The world has never been a better place. The economic hurricane.
There are cracks in the economy. There's no hurricane yet. There are definitely cracks in the economy. That's not to say the market has to come
Miami
down.
Hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about the you. Can we last chart, and then we'll go to Kenny. Last chart. Ready?
Also,
Friday. Look at the put volume in the Qs.
I wish this
ever.
Was fine. Yeah. I don't know. What does he say about this? Do you ever ask him about this data? A lot of people have opinions on this data.
So this comes from our friend Macro Charts legend. He is absolutely the man.
The best at using this type of data that I've ever read or known.
I think so. Yeah.
But this stuff's fine. Like, we don't have to look at this differently. Options markets have changed. And we're looking at total volume.
That's what I was going to say,
for these things.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly. Isn't this just a function of more options volume? Just like kind of how Friday was the biggest crypto liquidity event.
Yeah, but just understand that there's been a lot of options volume over the last several years too, and despite all that, Friday there was twice as much on the put side. Just saying, like, you know, interesting perspective as to how scared people were on Friday.
Yeah,
good look from Macro. That's all.
Good chart.
You want to be scared? You should watch 60 Minutes last night, talking to Andrew Ross Sorkin about the great.
Is that 60 Minutes still on air?
That's a signal too, right?
What's up with the guy who died at the end? What's up with the guy at the end that used to like do his thing and then he passed?
Yeah, that was Andy. That was 20 years ago, man. Andy Rooney.
Andy Rooney. That guy was the man. Right?
That's the last
he was probably the last time I watched 60 Minutes. I didn't even know it was still on. Like, who lets these people keep talking? Like, seriously, who's funding this shit?
I won the Chiefs game last night. I was sleeping.
The Chiefs won. Yeah. Huh? We got Kenny in the house. Let's
bring him out. Bring him out.
Kenny, you here? Let's bring him out.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come for my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Every day I made you cry. Let's go. We're coming back. We're almost back to the highs already. Look at Spence. Don't know what's going on. What's up, yo? What's up?
Everything, baby. It's a bull market. I don't know if you heard.
Did I hear Frankie Valli?
That it? Oh, it's just the spinners, but close. Yeah, it's a redo.
One of the best ever.
What's shaking, Holmes? What's up? What's going on? Something happened on Friday?
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Right. And that's exactly how the conversation with my dad went. I said, Dad, you see what's going on with the Qs? What? He doesn't care. He would have bought more if he was kind of like, it wasn't getting things cut off him right now. It's getting sliced up. Yucky.
Is he having surgery?
Yeah, you know, they still tested him. I was like, Dad, you're 80. Who cares what that growth is at this point? Go live your life. Play some pickleball.
Right. I talked to some guys, they're older and they're just like, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna have a drink, smoke some pot. Because what the fuck's the difference?
Right. Yeah, my dad's still 80, still fully invested in the Qs. He's all right. He's still buying every dip. But listen, yes, Friday was awesome. There's so many conspiracies going on. About how we were talking about the credit default swap guy. He was talking about signs that they saw before. The idea that there was some big moves before COVID, really, till the Tom Hanks night. Remember when Tom Hanks got COVID? Then we all freaked out. There was a lot of positioning ahead of that, and they were saying that politicians were getting ahead of the move to the downside, and they saw the same things in 2021. And for the last 3 weeks, my podcast partner was talking about his hedge fund buddies, talking about credit default swaps, the VIX correlation with the S&P, and I was like, I'm glad you all think the market's going to go down. When it starts to go down, then we'll short, and that's what Friday was. And it wasn't that you had to react so quickly to it either. I mean, if you guys, obviously you guys were around. I don't know if you see my here. Let me show you my charts. It was all computers. It was just phenomenal. Again, it all started with just this one move right here. I don't know if you see this, but
I don't know.
Right here, this is how it all began, and it's just your typical move. And what was interesting was that, earlier that morning, we had the anomaly print. We were calling him Fat Finger Freddy right there. And there was this out of the money print, which happened to be right at the prior day VWAP. So, when this candle started and we said, hey, what's this? And just like any other trade, okay. Oh, Trump said something. All right. But then we checked the UVXY and the VIX products and they were going up. So that was the difference. And we broke the lows of the day. So this is the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. One of the best trades I've ever discovered in my life. And you just don't see it on the Qs.
Say that slowly so everybody understands what you're saying, Kenny.
The 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. So you're breaking
to people what that means. That's a lot of words.
Right. You're breaking today's VWAP. You're breaking prior day, and you're also breaking, the recent low. So it's a 1 minute multi-day and then the reversal. So the Qs went from being green to red, and everything was telling you go short. Yeah, you might have missed 3 points, but you got to do something right there. And then we just started looking at multiple time frames. And here's your 20-day. And wait for it. And it was a pretty damn good trade. Left some meat on the bone here. But hey, listen, if you're shorting the Qs on a Friday,
always though, right? I mean, aren't you always leaving a little meat on the bone? It's okay.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And then listen, in the aftermarket, there was a secondary sell-off, which was pretty dramatic, and the UVXY spiked. So, but then. I don't know if you guys were still at the desk. I was still riveted by this. I was there till 8 o'clock. UVXY, you had the spike into the aftermarket, but then it came right back. So that's telling you, hey, you know what? The worst might be over already. And I didn't want to believe it. I thought when I saw the futures gapping up on Sunday last night at 6 o'clock, I was a little bit shocked at the big number it was. I thought we'd have a little.
Really?
Relief.
I thought it was spot on. I was talking to my brother-in-law. And I was telling him what Bitcoin's doing, Solana's doing, equity is probably going to gap up. And I'm like, what do you think it's going to be? And in my head, I was thinking about a 1% move, looking about 400 Dow points, 450. And he was like, oh, it's going to be up 2%. I was like, man, that's 900 Dow points. I don't know about that. And then the market opened. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
There was no quantitative formula for why I thought it was going to be up 1%. It was kind of just like my, get back a little more than half of what they gave up on Friday. The NASDAQ was up more than I thought it was going to be. I'll tell you that much.
These are the NQ futures. So here's the gap on Sunday. I tried my short right there, but again, I'm not going to get faux show broed. Quick little hit there for about 40 points. Not bad. But then the orange line came into play. So it's our special sauce was telling us, hey, you know what? If you're going to short again, here's your opportunity to get short. And look at the wonderful algorithmic nature of this market. So shorted at the orange, covered at the blue. That's a nice, 110-point win. And again, the only loss that happened was we got short. I got short again. Again, I was up all night. Once it got back to orange, I shorted here, but I never covered. And I wound up getting stopped out right there. But then, I woke up again and I saw them just hovering here. I got short again and I just covered when I woke up and now I'm flat. So a lot of motion. And, again, I was just talking with Dennis, Dick, and Joel. Everything's super bullish, right? Unless we break Friday's lows. Friday's lows now could be generational lows. If we break Friday's lows with VIX products going up, I'm going to put on the biggest short position of my life. Guess what? That's probably not going to happen. So Friday's lows, and again, I'm talking about both those prints. So the 4 o'clock close and the aftermarket, those are now new generational lows, in my opinion. We might not see them ever again. Dude, and again, I don't want to admit that.
Up 2% this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because everybody wants right back into the same stuff everybody's making money on. So nobody wants to be faux show broed, and that's what we're in the middle of right now. But my God, are we going to make it all back on the first day?
Jerry all back?
Jerry all back, yes.
Dude, we're back above 601. By the way, the Russell 2000 futures right now are above the all-time high close from last year, from last November.
Oh, really?
Just an FYI.
Yeah, it's just the most resilient market. And again, the easiest thing to remember is shorting is short-lived, and you're going to die. Yep. But here's the fun part about the market, right? So here we are talking about Qs and this monstrous move, right? And, all this stuff. And by the way, the material stocks were a whole different thing. USAR, who's still in that with me? Huh? From $20? I hope you guys got involved.
Up again this morning, 17%.
That stock is on fire, and it was the inverse relationship to the Qs. So as the Qs were getting smoked, USAR was going nuts. But then you wake up to this. Guys know about Solidon? Of course you know. Solid. He's one of our guys. So here's the stock that it's a pump and dump for sure. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel. We're into the, again, now the material, all these, rare earth stocks, they're just looking for anything that involves, if you build sandboxes right now, your stock's going 10x. So this stock just now, this was our only other trade so far this morning. You give me a little Kardashian bottom. There's the VWAP break. And look at this monstrous stock. And I just explained market mechanics. There was a huge offer. And then, guys, I'm not going to get too technical with you guys right now. But when I was a market maker, we actually did tell the truth. If we had some stock to buy, we went on the bid. We'd wave our hand. We're going high bid. Stock starts to move. We go high bid. We want stock. Right? Nowadays, stock starts to move. They'll stack the offers with this illusion that there's this huge overhead supply. It's a buyer. It's a buyer. He started showing up around 1075, flashing for like 500,000 shares, and there's where he got bought. And so we just bought it from him, sold it at 1250, and now we got the rollover. And by the way, look at the price, right to 1250, right to 1250, my friends. This is everything's so algorithmic now that if you just admit it, you'll trade a lot better. So trade around VWAP, half numbers and whole numbers, and it's still the way to go. And when you trade a stock like this, you kind of forget, oh yeah, the market's kind of in flux right now. Oh, maybe I should be paying attention. Why? And then USAR, as much as I love the stock, been shorting it. Again, beautiful short this morning. Like I said, I've been up all morning. Bang, VWAP break. You get paid 2 points. So while I've owned this stock, I've been shorting it in my day trading account. It's been awesome. But I still think it's going to 50, so be careful.
This is where it pays to understand like order book shenanigans, which Kenny does because he's been doing this for a long time.
Yes, order book. It's kind of like old school tape reading, but now the
order book shenanigans. I like how you said that, Spencer. That's exactly right.
You flip the script. A lot of stuff. A lot of the market now is just counterintuitive, but that's what VWAP is great because VWAP's telling you that you're right about the way you're thinking right now. So as long as you're on the right side of VWAP, you're generally on the right side of the trade.
Kenny, would you say the market is dumb?
No, the market is brilliant.
Okay,
it knows
it's
more
the
than
humans. It's the humans.
We're the dummies, right?
Yeah,
I'm the dummy thinking that we could actually go down 2 days in a row.
Kenny, I don't know if you heard this, but shorting is short-lived, and you're gonna die.
Yes, but I'm going to try one more time again today. You know I'm going to. So here, you see that spike that just wiped all my brethren out the door? Look where we spiked to. We spiked to basically that last spike right there. So now that they gave us a running start, if we roll and break the orange line, that's when you get a little aggressive. So that's good. Thank you for that, Stop Hunter. Ken Griffin right there. Just got all my friends out. And that's what happened just now, probably.
Love it.
All right. You too can trade live with Kenny Glick every single day. Just go to hitthebid.com, be in his room apparently all morning and all day and all night.
I haven't slept yet. Yeah. But also, let me throw this one more out there. Again, I'm glad you guys were all geniuses on these swing trades and the materials. If anybody's in some of these names, sell half, please. Would you? UUU is now up 100%. This was that nuclear stock that also.
I believe it is UUUU.
U and the U. Yes.
Two Utes.
So another all-time high. It's hard not to want to hold on to some of these names, but this thing's now doubled in the last 3 weeks. So, again, I know you were saying something about how everybody hates this market because it keeps going up, and it's so aggravating. It is, but that's the nature of the beast right now. Don't fight it, baby. Don't fight it. Be like me. Put on the bull suit. Pretend you're a bull for as long as it takes, and it's a lot easier to trade. All right?
All right. Kenny will see you at 11 o'clock.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Kenny will be live on the channel, the long and short of it. He's live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here, 11 a.m. Eastern time.
First of all, it's a great name, the long and short of it. It's a great name. What's a better name for a show? The long and short of it with Kenny Glick or the open bar with Steve Strazza?
Open bar is lit, dude.
The open bar is
I
good.
think they're both lit. I don't know. I really like the open bar, but the long and short of it is kind of awesome too, though.
The free trades that are popping off on the open bar, even with last week's selling. Wow. You see the Estee Lauder? Did that one live.
I love a good open bar. Usually, sometimes they're like only well drinks, but the open bars at weddings, those are better. You got the good stuff.
It depends what they have, but yeah. Let's do some headlines real fast. Some movers. Big mover of the day is Bloom Energy, up 24%. Strazza, you're frozen. They announced a partnership with Brookfield Asset Management. This is AI deal, so that's the headline there. Another AI headline: Avago, Broadcom.
It used to be Avago.
I know. Broadcom announced.
That's what happens when you start getting older, Spencer. Now you're joining the rest of us.
I'm looking at names. I'm staring at AVGO. Broadcom announced a collaboration with OpenAI to deploy 10 gigawatts of OpenAI designed AI accelerators. So Broadcom is up 12% on that headline. We mentioned the rare earth stocks all ripping this morning. On the downside,
hold on. This Broadcom pre-market, this is the best thing I've seen all day. This is the most bullish piece of price action I've seen. If the whole space follows, that's important. You don't want this to start feeling more and more like July last year. You guys remember that? Coming off all-time highs, semiconductors just started getting punched in the face like every couple of days. Everybody's like, what's going on here? Already happened to the home builders. Right, so it's starting to feel more and more that way. Really want to see semiconductors dig in right back to all-time highs. That would be great. The best thing that could happen today, I would say. They're also at the center of this.
Right. I don't disagree with that, Strazza.
And another thing, crypto. You're hearing all this like, oh, this is the worst sell-off ever. No, it wasn't. Not even close. Crypto has had far worse days. I understand that the values.
First time it lost $20,000.
I understand that the value of the asset class continues to grow more and more with every bull market. That's normal, right? But this is not the worst day ever. If you're a crypto investor, don't sit there and be like, oh, Friday, I lost so much money, but it was the worst day ever. It wasn't. There's so many worse days, like just this cycle. It gets a lot worse than this. So if you can't stomach Friday, this isn't for you. Friday was frankly not that bad. Look at the biggest ones. They held up just fine. So that's nothing.
Isn't that headline? Isn't it just a function of the fact that the larger the crypto market gets, the bigger these one-day liquidations will be? Right?
Yeah, so those numbers, look at the percentage moves. That's what matters for your portfolio, not how many people are getting blown out of positions.
Yep. Speaking of getting blown out this morning, Beyond Meat, which is still around, by the way, down 56%. They're doing some dilution. They're issuing some
I hope it
shares.
goes to zero.
I haven't seen.
I just find it insulting that they would make fake meat and make it out of vegetables.
I haven't seen a Beyond Meat product. I haven't seen one in the wild.
They should make fake vegetables made from meat. That's what they should do.
Can somebody send
I
JC?
invest in that, like carrots,
they might.
Actually salmon or like
right?
Can someone please send JC a box of Beyond Meats fake steaks as a joke, because that would just be hilarious. Right? That would be good.
Disgusting. You should be ashamed as a human. Ashamed. Like seriously, it's disgusting.
We used to have people in the chat that would like say vegan things when we would talk about meat. Where did they go? Did they stop watching?
They're around. People are around. What else did I have? Fastenal earnings is mixed. They're down 4% this morning. That's kind of the only earnings report of the day. We talked about the trade war or lack thereof from over the weekend. Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, there's
just let them work it out. Let them work it out. I heard something. He's going to some meeting now. Who cares? By the way, it's gonna be fine.
Can you throw up slide 2? Because let's talk about something important. All right. You're sitting here, you're talking about all these great companies and Bitcoin and software. Let's talk about something important. Throw up slide 2. Useless coin up 17% this morning. Look at that base in useless coin. Come on.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Do you own enough useless coin? Because I'm pretty sure that most investors don't have enough useless exposure. And
by the way,
Sam, I want to give a shout out to Sam, who was texting me at 6 a.m. this morning, asking me if I owned enough useless coin. That's what Sam was doing. And if you're wondering what Sam is doing in Greece, he's texting me about useless coins.
Yeah.
This
is one of the strongest cryptos out there. Hold on now.
I think it is the strongest.
Yeah. And just want to point out, this thing drew down like 75%.
Which is par for the course, right?
So again, right. So this might not be for you. If Friday was too much, like rethink your whole crypto life, I think would be the right thing to do here. Because this is nothing. This is one of the best tokens out there. You want to be buying that 70% bloodbath intraday. That's how this works. So
is the bounce back in useless coin indicative of broader market risk appetite?
No, but it's why most retail traders absolutely just get incinerated.
No. I know. Moving forward. Is the bounce back in useless coin a leading indicator for some of the larger caps?
I don't know. Maybe in the same way you would look at any leadership stocks, right? To bounce back first, this would be a leadership stock, right?
So are you saying that this is the Nvidia of crypto?
Not at all.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No way. Nope. This would be some like micro cap drone stock that I have on my watch list because it's been unusually strong and nobody talks about
Understood.
it.
Understood. Yeah. Okay. Touche. Not Nvidia, JC. Settle down over there, buddy.
but seeing something like Ethereum snap back to new cycle highs or record highs would be big, right? That would be. You want to see the Mag 7.
Is there a nicer chart on the world right now? Spencer Israel, somebody who watches us pull out charts day in, day out for many years now. Is there a nicer looking chart out there?
I'm sure there is. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure there is. This is funny.
I don't think there is. Anybody in the chat want to weigh in? Anybody got a nicer chart than this? Come on.
Pepsi.
Wow.
Steve's been all over this one.
Dude, Steve Strazza, as much as we make fun of him for trading, he has been all over this correctly. Yeah. And it makes me so happy when Steve is trading consumer staples. Just brings joy to my life.
No doubt.
I just want to thank financial derivatives for making boring stocks fun again. I just want to thank derivative markets all around the world for making boring stocks exciting. So if you know, you know. Pepsi. That was a quick triple.
They exist. Hey, we got Jason Purse in the house. Let's talk gold or silver or copper. I don't know.
Ooh, Mr. Jason Purse. Hello, sir.
Hey, what's up, JC? How are you?
Gold is up, and I am great, thank you. Can we throw up slide 14, please? This is what I'm talking about right here. I want to set the stage, and then Jason, I want you to chime in because people are seeing gold making new all-time highs as it is today. 4,100 for gold, $50 silver. Hello. This is not anything new, right? So I'm incredibly fortunate to have mentors early in my career, 20-something years ago, people like Luis Yamada and John Rowe, Alan Shaw, and others that taught me, that we don't just want to price assets in fiat currencies, but we want to price assets in gold as well to get additional perspective. So I've been doing that for many, many years. I just don't know any other way. Now let's flip that on its head. And now we're looking at the fiat currencies themselves relative to real money, right? Gold, if you will, quote unquote, real money. And as you can see here, euro bottomed in 2011 when gold peaked, right? And this is euro priced in gold. And around COVID, the euro broke down to new all-time lows priced in real money, right? So fiat currency euro, all-time lows in real terms 5 years ago, and has been collapsing ever since. Next chart. So I got a few, and then I want to hear Jason's thoughts. So British pound, same thing. 2019, took out those 2011 lows, been making new all-time lows ever since. Next. Aussie, new all-time lows, for 5-6 years now, broke down in 2019. Aussie priced in real currencies, making new all-time lows. And so coming into last year, I'm like, everything's making new all-time lows all over the world. Latin America, Africa, Asia, Europe, don't matter. They're all making new all-time lows price in gold. So in other words, gold is already making all-time highs, price in every currency around the world except the dollar and Swissy. Throw up Swissy. So it's like, okay, well, when is Swissy going to break down relative to gold? At some point it has to. It's the next domino to fall. Sure enough, last year it did that. Really got going to the downside last year, has been completely collapsing ever since. And so coming into this year, it's only a matter of time before gold breaks out in dollar terms. In other words, it's only a matter of time before the dollar ultimately joins every other currency in the world to new all-time lows, price in real currency. And that's what we've seen this year. But I just want to show everybody that this is not something that just happened this year. This has been going on for over half a decade. It's just Americans are finally waking up. Jason, how close or far away am I from reality?
No, this is perfect. And I actually wrote a piece for the Bound Report last week, which is on basically global currency wars and the idea that we continue to devalue all of these currencies, and it's really a race to the bottom. So many people will go, okay, the dollar's got to win because of these reasons. This currency might win for these reasons, but really it's a race to the bottom. All the central banks will continue to cut rates, one possibly a little bit faster than the other. Sometimes it gives a boost to the dollar. Sometimes we're cutting faster than other people. It's just a race to the bottom. So I think we're going to continue to see this move. I think the money's going to be treated best in something that's a hard asset like gold. Do I think it's going to continue the way it is? Probably not. The 50% years in gold, it's very rare. It happens, but it's very rare. So looking at this situation, I don't think it's going to continue to this degree, but I think it will continue in the exact way you're looking at it, which is if you look at all of these global currencies, it's just going to continue lower. And the gold's going to continue higher. The dollar could bounce around a little bit, but I think the overall trend is going to be lower for the dollar compared to gold.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing it, but it's not the dollar's fault. I think it's just fiat situation.
Exactly. It's not, so many people try to turn it into whether it's got to be, okay, the United States is doing this, so it must be this, or no, it's just a global race to the bottom. And some currencies are going to bounce a little bit more. There'll be periods of time where the dollar is going to be the place to be. There's going to be periods of time where the euro is going to be the place to be, and so on until basically we get to the bottom. They love all devaluing at the same time. That's the other thing that a lot of people don't know. When you see like the U.S. is cutting rates, you look around the world, everybody's cutting rates then. The U.S. is raising rates. Look around the world, everybody's then raising rates. We all follow each other on this planet as we're lowering and hiking rates. So I think that's going to be kind of a theme that we'll continue to see, especially as the Fed is lowering rates now, and the rest of the world is lowering as aggressive as they did in 2020, which blows my mind. Market at near all-time highs, maybe at all-time highs just today. And if you're looking at the futures market, but if you look at all those things, you look at commodities, you look at currencies, you look at everything, and you go, wow, they're still going to cut rates. And at a level that we saw last in 2020. Before that, we saw a very similar level of cuts in 2008. I think it's going to really be a rocket ship for gold. I think gold's just going to continue rallying. I think the miners are going to be the place you want to be. I think getting junky in the space, and Sam always laughs at me when I say this because he knows it's the last thing that I'll ever talk about, but really it's time to get junky in the gold space. Get to those really small cap names, those ones that, JC, you've talked about those back in the 2000s, these huge names that go from like, nobody ever even heard of them. AEM was one of those back then. AEM was one that nobody ever heard of.
Hecla Mining, Yamana Gold, I mean, all these.
And then next thing you know, they're the large cap names. They're in the GDX index. So like
everything's relative.
Yep, exactly. So like
$10 billion for one of these things might as well be $1 trillion.
Yes, I think it's time to do that. I think it's time to get really junky in the space. Seeing NEM as one of the best performing stocks in the US this year is just wild. Like, I mean, it's
Newmont Mining potentially breaking out of a 40-year base.
That's huge. And same with silver. Years. Silver's 50, like we continue to see these massive base setups and these breakouts happen in the gold space. And I don't think it's going to stop. I think it's going to continue.
Is
throw
gold
up.
really a currency, Jason?
I would so gold has that monetary value. So the reason why I would say yes to an extent is the fact if you look at all the commodities in history, look at them all. They go up, they go down. They're basically kind of stuck in these huge ranges most of the time.
Yeah.
But gold always has this premium, and I think that's the monetary premium of gold. Silver has a lot of industrial uses. It's more of an industrial metal. So I could see why that one isn't going to have that same premium as gold does. But gold has a premium. You could look at it compared to stocks. It's the only one that kind of you can put your money in a commodity and it will hold value over time and continue to go higher.
So if I'm just being a realist about it, because I've never understood this argument, I see a bunch of stuff in the chat about it. Gold's great. I understand that's valuable. But a currency, next time my cleaning lady is done here, I'm going to offer a gold coin for her service. She's going to, no problem. She's going to take it. No, she's going to look at me like I'm a fucking crazy person and be like, dinero, por favor.
That's
okay?
what Kyle gives the farmers.
So in that,
he gives them silver. He gives them silver coins.
Okay. But you could say the same thing with Bitcoin. You could say if I gave my cleaning lady Bitcoin, she might be like, "No, that's insane."
That's not a currency either yet. But I think it's closer. In the world where gold becomes a currency, everything else is going to be so.
Gold has become a currency before all your fiat dollars were a currency, buddy. I hate to break it to you. Gold was a currency first.
If gold ever
becomes
a current, my point is you can't buy stuff with it, and you're never going to be able to unless the world looks severely different in the worst way than it does today. So in that world that like people dream of, where they could use their gold bars to like barter and buy shit with, you're not going to want to be alive. Probably your life's going to really suck.
This guy is such an
I don't
American
this
from Connecticut.
Like
American from Connecticut. How about the rest of the world, Strazza,
rooting.
where you can't just walk over to your Cuban bakery in the morning and get your croquetas? You know, like the rest of the world doesn't work that way, dude.
Sometimes it seems people don't understand the outcome that they're like rooting for, and it really boggles my mind. That's, I guess, all I'm saying about that.
But nobody's rooting for it. I mean, at least here, us three. You know, I'm looking at it.
I'm not saying you are.
Yeah, I'm looking at, and a lot of people are going, okay, I need this gold because it's going to go to, $20,000. And in that environment, the world's a very different place. I agree.
You think? Yeah. I don't think it's very different. I think it's the exact same thing. It's just gold's more expensive. I don't think it changes anything.
I think it turns into a situation where then people are, if everybody's bartering with gold, I think that's a very different situation.
Central banks own Bitcoin too.
I think you're underestimating humans. I think you're underestimating humans, Jason. I think the market will be just fine.
I'm not saying the market would be hurt. I'm not saying like the world would be so different. I'm saying that we'd be out of US dollars. US dollar would probably not be the world reserve currency. There would be a lot of things that probably do happen to make that happen. That doesn't mean like we're not on here still doing the morning show. That doesn't mean the market's not open. It just means the world looks a little bit different than it does today. Which happened.
I'll take the under. I love you, Jason. I'll take the under.
Take the under. Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll bet on it. We'll come back to it in 100 years.
When gold's at 20,000, let's see if there's zombies walking around. I'm thinking no.
I don't think there's any zombies. Not yet. Hey, but really,
what's the price of gold where the zombies are coming out? $100,000 an ounce.
100K.
The zombies are out.
Yeah.
All right.
Gold, I'll go
it's not that debasement isn't real. Okay. I've been reading books like IOUSA since I was in high school. I totally understand the debt problem, the dollar problem, all of it. At the same time, the dollar hegemony is really real. And it's part of the reason why the United States is in the position they are and why our capital market system here and our stock market here looks the way it does, which is very different from the rest of the world. So to sit here and say all these bad things and build this big, scary, bearish narrative around things changing so drastically, in other words, the U.S. going from top dog and everything being great to the dollar's worthless, that's just kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, especially when none of those things are happening, right? And we have risk asset markets at new highs and like everything's fine. And this has just been going on my whole life. People out here telling the same fucking scary story that never comes to fruition. So it's fine. It's cool. I know people love it. But at the same time, like,
it's like the Ray Dalio thing right now. Ray Dalio's out there. All these guys are out there. They've been talking about this end of, the United States scenario for a long time. Once again, anything is possible, but I'm not like, as a trader, like betting on that sounds insane. It's like betting on the debt, like finally wrecking the markets. You and I have heard that our whole careers. Debt's going to wreck the market. That's going to be the end. The debt's too high. I think it's just hey, gold is good. Globally, we're looking at currencies like kind of racing to the bottom. Doesn't mean they're disappearing. Doesn't mean the United States is going to lose reserve status tomorrow. Just means pay attention to it. Continue to have some hard assets. Gold has just always been money. It's not the fact that we can use it and barter with it very easily. It's just been money for a long period of time. People will kind of always go to it during times of strife, times of turmoil, and so on. So I'm not saying that today we're going to get back to that point anytime soon. I am saying, like, there's a reason why people keep running to it. There's a reason why the central banks keep buying it. And, I think it's a good time to still be long it. There will be a time to be short it, though. As a trader, I'll go long, I'll go short it. But right now is a good time to be long.
Is that true about the tuna? No, I hear you, Jason. I'm fucking pissed off right now.
Steve's hype. I love it.
Markets opening in 3 minutes. What do you say? We do a little recess and get going. I have hedging trades to put on. I have to put on some hedging trades.
What do people hedge these days?
It's like the interactive brokers.
Profitability usually.
Yeah.
Remember those interactive brokers commercials?
Yeah, I think it was TD. I was one of those.
No, it was the girl like got
dates. 1 second, I had to put on some hedging trades.
That was interactive.
That was interactive brokers. Of course, Strazza knows the Greenwich, Connecticut commercials.
They were hilarious. Great commercials.
Yeah. All right, hit it, Spencer. All right, I got to hop, but a week from tomorrow, everybody's going to be in Las Vegas next week for the annual Stansberry Conference. This is going to be in Las Vegas. There's going to be a zillion people there. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the most people I ever present. I have 2 presentations. One's a big one in front of the whole audience, and then one's behind closed doors, kind of workshop. I encourage you to join me for both. But that day on the 21st, on October the 21st, 6 p.m. in Las Vegas, we will be at the lobby bar at the Encore, and I'm going to hold a town hall meeting for all of you who have reached out for us to build a new social media platform. The world needs a place for traders and investors to share ideas. It's weird it doesn't exist today, so we may as well do it. We've been working behind the scenes to build something great. We've been building it. I mean, this community here in the morning is evidence in and of itself. You guys are amazing. We're going to continue to build out. And if you have ideas, join us next week, a week from tomorrow on the 21st, 6 p.m. at the lobby bar at the Encore. And, I'm open-minded. We can add all kinds of features, but the world needs a place where traders and investors can interact, share ideas, connect with one another. And who better than us, right? Message me if you're coming. Okay, so that we can plan accordingly.
All right.
Nice.
My recess was that I had a great dad weekend. I built a crib, which I feel like was like a big dad milestone to do. I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, but that's neither here nor there. But I did it, and it's done, and I felt very accomplished and very, very proud.
Is it one of those cribs that turn into a big boy bed, or is
this one does? It's going to be a pain in the ass in a couple of years, I think.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
All right, yeah.
And if whenever in doubt, as a new father who's going to be building a bunch of shit,
yeah,
just go. Don't worry about the instruction manual. Go straight to YouTube every time.
Oh yeah,
that's
every time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the instruction manual.
That's right.
Throw it away.
Also, as my dad always says, if you don't have 1 million spare parts, you didn't do it right. So I got 15,000 spare parts, but that's okay.
Just hire somebody.
No. Not for this, man. Not for this. Could do that. That's what I got.
All right, good.
All right, we're done.
No,
all right.
Real fast. So I was on the show the other week, and I said something about meeting a serial killer, and I literally got blown up by every single person, like on All-Star Charts. Everybody that I knew in finance basically was like, wait a second, so you met a serial killer. So I'm going to write about that this week. So that'll be on the blog. So excited to talk a little bit more about that. If you guys know the Cleveland Strangler, I got to meet him one time. Very interesting story. So I'll be posting that this week.
What a strange life you've had.
I know.
Right? Jason Purz has had some life.
It's been some weird shit. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, there's some weird shit that comes out when I write from time to time.
You dropping some LBs, Jason? You look good.
Yeah, I dropped about 30. Yep, about
nice.
30. Yeah. Good
Jason, you remind me of that. There was that scene in I think it's From Russia with Love. They're on the James Bond. They're on the train, and the dude is tied up. He's captive, and the guy sits down next to him. He goes, "I've had a rather interesting life. Would you like to hear about it?" And then he just starts talking about his life for hours. The guy's tied up. That's what you would do because you've had an interesting life.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got to tell somebody. They might as well
right.
be tied up. Nobody
That's
else
right.
wants to listen.
Okay, let's get out of here. Kenny will be live at 11. Charm Request live at 1. Send us your requests, questions at stockmarketmedia.com.
Strazza has something to say.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say as a general message, this is not a politics show, so don't watch our show for any like political analysis. If we don't mention something or don't talk about something, it doesn't mean we don't care. We're just not experts at all in that. Like, come here for market analysis. That's what we try to talk about. I get my political news from Saturday Night Live, so you really don't want to hear my opinion.
Yeah, I truly don't give a shit who your president is. And I just want to say something. I saw a picture of Hillary Clinton when she was younger. She was pretty hot.
Okay.
I didn't see that coming.
Okay.
That's our
It was
political
pretty hot.
analysis for today. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bye,
Pictures
everybody.
of like her and Bill in college. That stuff's
Yeah,
around.
not bad. Bill was kind of a stud.
Yeah.
Bill-
All right.
All right. Thanks for this.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.